Rivalries reignited.
Historic heavyweights.
The spiciest of derbies.
New kids on the block.
The best leagues in the land are back.
Tom Hitchcock crashes. Tom Hitchcock goes. Tom Hitchcock scores. Leaving it all out there for the match.
A steamroller has just charged through.
Dynasty, destiny, drama.
Your Women's National League Cup champions.
Future stars set to shine.
Rig has been on fire all season
Champagne rugby? Look no further.
to score one of the most memorable tries.
Durham University are Bucks Super Rugby League champions.
The truth is, in this league, it's anyone's on the day.
And it's full time. It is 6 wins from 6 for Swansea.
Entertainment guaranteed.
Bucks Super Rugby.
Women's National League.
Bucks Rugby is back.
Hello everybody and welcome to Epping Way. We've got a great game for you today. It is a rivalry that runs through student rugby. Loughborough students hosting Hartpury. Hartpury came here last year, a scratch side, got stuffed off the park and then went on to lift the trophy. As for Loughborough this season, it has been a tough build, but with Hartpury slipping up last week, maybe there is a sense that the sea might be about to change at this level. We've got a great day for you today. It's not just this game in the Bucks Women's National League. We've got a double header in Bucks Super Rugby. Cardiff are in town. It's a top of the table clash in the men's competition too. So clear your diary, stick with us throughout the day. We're counting down to kick-off, but we've got some great interviews beforehand. I had a catch-up with Katie Trevarthen, the head of rugby here at Loughborough Students Women's, but before that, let's hear from Alex Baker, the club captain, who spoke to Joe Burns.
Alex, here we are again. Start of a WNL season. Lots of optimism, new players, old players. How are you and the girls feeling about heading into this season?
Super excited. We've just started our pre-season. We've got a lot of new girls come in, and it's just nice to see lots of new energy brought into it. We've started hanging out together, meeting each other. Pre-season's going well. Skills are looking good.
So last season,
Yeah.
kicked things off against Hartpury. A handsome victory at home, really sort of set you up for that strong start to the season he had. Got them in round 5. It's a tough prospect in their champions.
It is such an exciting game because us and Hartpury play a very similar brand of rugby. Like, we want to look for the space, play on top, play with tempo. So I think sometimes it does come down to who's better on the day. For example, first game of the season last year, we really hit the ground running, played really well. Then they got the better of us at the end of the season. So I think it's just purely who's better on the day, but I think it's going to be a good game to watch.
It's going to be an awesome sort of milestone for you to see where you guys are as well, I guess, in your development this season. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, but the target's got to be making the final this year, right?
Yeah, target's definitely making the final. Hopefully going all the way, but final at least, I'd say.
Which player do you look up to in the professional ranks that we see out there today?
So I do think my person I look up to isn't necessarily an on-field player. My person's Alona Marsh. She plays for USA Eagles, and she is actually just such a good player because she's got so much growth for the women's game over the past year. There must be so many girls who started rugby purely because of everything she's done. And I think it's just such a brilliant thing to see for developing the grassroots. It's going to make the next bits better.
Who is going to shine for Loughborough this
So
season?
I've been having to think about this, and I really think Sally Williams, she's a flanker, she's brilliant, and then also Catherine Baverstock, Capav. They're just both such electric players, and I'm just excited to see what they can do. Brilliant in contact, they've got a bit of footwork about them, big hits, yeah.
Good stuff. Looking forward to seeing them. Looking forward to seeing you.
Yeah.
And looking forward to seeing Loughborough. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
The Women's National League has started to settle in now. This is the first time we've brought the cameras to Epping Way. So what do you make of your start to the season, and what can everyone expect to see from your troops tonight?
Yeah, obviously been quite a tough start for us, but I think it shows just how close and competitive the league is, which is exactly what we want it to be. We want every game to be close, we want every game to be hard, because it's a really good thing for the women's game, but it's also class to the development of the girls, which realistically, yeah, they want to perform on this stage, but they want to bounce to perform in even bigger stages as well. So it's a class platform for that. Yeah.
You mentioned the word develop there. How have you developed and how have you improved as this season's gone on?
Yeah, so it's a great question. I think obviously for us, early doors, we were probably sort of the wrong side of some really close games, and that probably came down to a few sort of like last bits of decision making where we did so much right, but then maybe the last decision wasn't quite as we wanted it to be. And I think that's been a huge area of focus for us in training, and actually it showed last week. Like, we go up to Durham, it's a tough place to go away, it's a tough track to go to. Conditions weren't awful, but they definitely could have been better as well, and actually the girls were defending hard for the last 15-20 minutes, only just ahead, and actually stuck it out, stayed ahead, and we sort of reversed that score that maybe right at the start of the season we'd have struggled to see out. So I think that shows the development of us over the last sort of month or so. What
about this track then? The artificial surface here at Loughborough, we get a lot of tries, and your opponents this evening, they love to come and play as well. This could be a cracking game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be an expansive game, definitely. Like, both sides want to play rugby, and you know, when we're on this track, like, this is what we play rugby for. Like, teams hate coming to us, and they hate coming to us because we play hard here, and that's exactly what we want to bring today.
Good luck today. Go well.
Thanks very much.
Always a pleasure to hear from Katie Trevarthen. Also, always a pleasure to hear from Claire Thomas, who is on comms today. And before we send you up to the very cold roof, I thought we'd have a chat. This is a great rivalry. Anytime it's Loughborough versus Hartpury, it is worth tuning in for. But I want some nuggets. I can see some research notes there. Who are you looking forward to seeing today, and the head-to-heads you're looking forward to?
Oh, that's a really interesting question, because there are head-to-heads all over the park. It's been so nice getting to know these two teams over the course of this Women's National League season, and a player that every time I am on Twitter looking at live tweets, or every time we do a live stream or we see a game, Charlie Manns for Hartpury, pulling the strings, absolute consummate playmaker. She reminds me a bit of a Caroline Drouin. I know that's a massive comparison to make, but she is a fly half who does it all. She's just as likely to chip over the top and chase it, to slot a penalty, or to clear out a ruck and win a turnover. She's such a Swiss Army knife of a player. We've seen her at 10 mostly this season, but she's playing at 12 today, which I haven't seen before. So she's actually swapped with Abby Priestnell, who, when we saw her playing Cardiff Met a couple of weeks ago, they were the other way around, that 10-12 axis. So I don't know what Mohan has got up our sleeve there. I'm very intrigued to see how that one plays out. But it's then particularly interesting when you contrast them with the playmakers we're expecting from Loughborough today, because we've got Molly Anderson-Thomas playing at fly half. She's a Welsh under-20 international, and apparently she has maturity above her years. It's a young and energetic Loughborough camp, Katie was telling me earlier this week, but she is one of the ones who, when all about her are losing their heads, she manages to keep hers, which is good, because playing at 12 for Lightning is Leah Green. She's a fresher. She was a football academy product who only took up rugby 14 months ago, and here she is running out at Epinal Way, and apparently she has just got a ridiculous box of tricks. A couple of weeks ago she slotted a penalty from 40 metres out for Loughborough. So to take up this sport and then be doing stuff like that with such aplomb is really, really exciting. So those two 10-12 battles, oh yeah, come on.
I mean, I'm more excited now already, so hanging on your every word. You mentioned Katie there. We heard from her a little bit earlier. She's a real asset to this league, isn't she? Because she's so experienced with Loughborough Lightning. You talk about the players that have been playing for 14 months and they're already playing in the Women's National League. I've got no doubt that there are players in both of these teams who will be seen in the Premier 15s that starts this weekend. But you had a great chat to Katie earlier. I'm going to say this week, might have been today. Are there any nuggets you can give us, or is it all under lock and key? Is it all secret?
Well, I'm going to save some of that for commentary, because I don't want to use up all of my research just now, Dave, I'm afraid to say. But what I will say about Katie is I love what a young coach she is. She took up coaching when she was injured at a really dark time in her playing career. She wasn't even sure if she'd get back on the pitch. So she got into coaching, took to it like a duck to water. She's done all her courses, she's cut her teeth at lower levels, and here she finds herself at the helm of an institution as prestigious as Loughborough. But she is still playing week in, week out in the Prem 15s, and actually I'll be at Stonex on Sunday, where I hope to see her run out. She's been in amazing form. And I just love when you have a coach who is still in action, someone who really gets exactly how the game is being played right now, who has their finger on the pulse, and she's actually just appeared behind us now, so I might be making her blush a little bit. But Katie is someone who really gets it. She's young enough to relate to these young women that she's working with, but equally she's played at such a good level as an England under-20 representative, as an England Academies representative, to command a lot of respect. And I think we will see that symbiotic relationship in the way that they play today.
Well, let's whisper then and pretend that we're not pumping her tyres up massively, but she's also one of Loughborough Lightning's leading appearance makers, a real asset to this league and the Lightning team too. I should probably stop whispering now and also let you get into the commentary position, as it's time to turn our attention back to Hartpury, where Joe Burns had a catch-up with the club captain Evie Roach earlier in the season.
Evie Roach, wearing the red of Hartpury. This is the moment that I meant to ask about the rugby, but I want to know more about the team bonding, okay? Because quite legendary. I know that you had like a breakthrough laser tag session, session with each other last season. So what's been going down this year?
We had outdoor laser tag in our pre-season camp, which was really good. We had a little pizza night, just like introducing the freshers, finding out a bit of gossip about them, finding out what they're like. So yeah, it's been really good just to get to know everyone. Laser
tags, pizza, gossip sessions.
Gossip session, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and a quiz.
And a quiz?
Yeah.
Who's quiz master in the team?
Jane. Yeah, new coming to Gloucester. She's our second team coach. So yeah, she was great.
I'd like to know more about you. You, Evie, the player, okay? So what was it about Hartpury? What was it about coming and chasing the WNL dream?
Yeah, so I started playing rugby when I was about 13, so I started playing for Winscombe. So a girl that I was playing with at the time that was in their older age group, she went to Hartpury and I was like, sort of like, wow. So I've sort of wanted to go to Hartpury since I was under 13. And I can remember just waiting for the email to get in, because I went to college there, and I was just waiting for the email on my phone. I was in like lesson and my dad texted me, and I got in and I was like, started crying and stuff. Just because it's just such a prestigious place to go. Like, you've got all the players that have been there before, like Sarah Burns, Zoe Aldcroft, Kelly Smith, all of that. Like, you just know that you're going there to perform, and it's like a make or break for a lot of people. Like, you decide whether you want to continue and that's the route you want to go down, or it's not. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's a great opportunity to be at Hartpury. And then I started playing Bucks in my second year of college. I was lucky enough to be an older one, so I was able to play with them. So when I started playing Bucks, I just knew that that was it. I was going to stay at Hartpury. Like, just love the atmosphere, love the girls, like, love like the sort of vibe that Bucks rugby has. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like the mix of going out, social rugby, along with like performing as well. So yeah, I liked it.
You come to Loughborough as champions, but champions with a setback. It was the first defeat of the year last season. How has this build-up this week been compared to how it has been in previous weeks?
Yeah, look, Exeter showed up. They wanted to play. They exploited us. We didn't really show up to like the 60th minute, and then we started to play, but by then it was too late. We sat down in analysis and had a hard talk with ourselves, but we kind of took a different approach this week. We let the girls self-assess, and I was really happy with how they come up with like the decisions they made. They can start to see now through analysis what the mistakes they're making, so to bring it out onto the pitch is the next thing. But yeah, we've introduced a bit. We had a hard contact session on Friday, and I think it really teed the girls up for this week. So we came in Monday with a clear game plan for Loughborough, who look like a pretty decent side and have had a pretty good run so far.
Do you feel as though you've got a point to prove?
Oh, 100%. We're defending champions, and like, we want to prove that on live stream today as well. Like, I told the girls, like, we want to come here with intent. We want to carry hard, make dominant hits, and that's what we're about.
Well, last time it was the live stream, it was that brilliant game at Kingsholm where the players played really well. That was a fantastic performance. Do you think, under the lights, in front of the cameras, this is the kind of group that can really put on a show?
Yeah, I mean, that's where they shine. Like, even the weather conditions that way were not in our favour. It was pouring down with rain, the ball was slippy, but we stuck to our game plan. The crowd were amazing that day, and I think that's where the girls shine. Like, they love that bit of, you know, pressure outside of the game also.
What about Loughborough then? Because this is a great rivalry. Doesn't matter if it's college, university, Premier 15s, men's, women's. They're two teams who love to play each other and love to beat each other as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm only new to Bucks this season, but there's always that history between Loughborough and like any uni team as well. Like, the girls, and they know a lot of each other. I heard them chatting about it on the bus as well, and like, they're here to play. Like, both teams want to play. Like, when our backs get hands on ball, they run with intent. You know, getting out to our wingers are fast. So it'll be an interesting game to watch, and I'm really excited for it.
Enjoy tonight. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Here we go then, round 5 of the Women's National League, as last year's semi-finalists Loughborough host the reigning Cup champions. That's right, Hartpury are in town. It's 5th versus 3rd, and two sides who've had very pleasingly mirrored seasons. Loughborough, they have lost 3 and won 1. Hartpury, they've won 3 and lost 1. But as this league grows more and more competitive, it's all to play for, and this will be a fascinating clash between two sides who really like to fizz the ball around. Both of these sides coached by Premier 15 stalwarts, Katie Trevarthen at Loughborough and Mo Hunt, of course, from England and from Gloucester Hartpury. But in her place today, Sam Monaghan will lead the side. Plenty of international experience there, and plenty of international experience alongside me, because I've been joined by Lily Ives-Campion of Loughborough Lightning and of England. Lily, how are you, and how are you feeling on the eve of making your Women's National League commentary debut?
I'm really excited to watch this game today. This test is always so exciting. I think Hartpury bring a lot of dominance. They're really strong around the pack, and I think we can match that today, but I also think it's really exciting to see if Loughborough can stand up to this.
This is a pitch you're very familiar with, and we heard from Katie before the game when she spoke to Dave about how quick it is as a track. Do you think that with the conditions, it's dry as a bone, it's fairly still, we could see a lot of real jouet this evening?
I really do. Well, every time I step on this pitch, I always think I'm a lot quicker than I am. So I really hope that plays off for us today. And it's even Hartpury, both teams. But yeah, I'm really excited to see what they're going to get up to.
We were watching the warm-ups earlier there, and there's so many players you're familiar with from your time with England under-20s. It's really testament to how fantastic the WNL is this year, that there are England under-18s, England under-20s, Welsh age group representatives all over the park. How excited does that get you?
It gets me so excited, especially to be in this experience right now, and to know that we've got a 20 side and an 18 side, and the fact that there's 18 Six Nations, maybe potentially a 26 Nations. I think it just shows so much for the women's development of the rugby and everything, so it's really exciting for that.
It keeps things very hard to guess. So let's take a look at how things worked out last week in the WNL. Showing what a topsy-turvy league this is. Loughborough, today's hosts, they took the scalp of Durham, which means something slightly different, it's fair to say, this year. Durham are struggling to find their feet after topping the league last season, but a big result nonetheless in the clash of those two purple sides. Edinburgh, well, we know what they're all about, and with some of their junior Scottish contingent in place, they put Cardiff Met to the sword up north, and then Hartpury defeated at home by Exeter, an enormous result. Have you seen much of Exeter this season? What do you make of what it is that they've been able to put out on the park? And you might know Poppy Leach from your time in the Premier 15s. She must be an amazing coach to play under.
Yeah, Exeter this year really stepped up their game. So they've come to the system this year, right?
Yes.
And yeah, this is really exciting for them. And I think also with their branch between Exeter and Exeter Chiefs, I think this is really fun for them. And they've got some really, really good players out there, and some that I've played with and some that I really know of just by watching.
Well, you're in purple yourself, so there's another fantastic relationship at Loughborough between Loughborough Lightning in the Premier 15s and this university pathway. Let's take a look at these round 5 fixtures, because there are some really interesting head-to-heads as we near the midway point, crazy as that might sound, of this season. Exeter, they were the ones we were just talking about, the ones that everyone are talking about after that fantastic promotion at the end of last season. They host Edinburgh, clash of the Titans there. You feel like that could really decide some of the runners and riders in this table. Cardiff Met, they've got Durham in town. You'd suspect Cardiff Met would get the edge on that one, but we'll keep you up to date on that as today unfolds. And then tonight, the first of our double header here from Epinal Way. Loughborough hosting Hartpury, as we've already said, 5th up against 3rd. Kickoff is in about 5 minutes' time. And we'll see if we can, as I said, to keep you across everything else taking place across this league. Here's how the table looks before round 5 gets underway. So Edinburgh sitting pretty up at the top, but it is so hotly contested. Just 2 points between them and 3rd placed Hartpury. New kids on the block, Exeter, causing chaos in the WNL. Cardiff Met clinging on by their fingertips before we get to Loughborough, and Durham struggling with just that one losing bonus point at the bottom of the table. But Lily, Loughborough lost their first round match to Edinburgh. That was such a close affair. And then also lost their second round match to Durham.
My mistake. They lost that to Exeter. Two really, really close results that perhaps suggest that this league, that their position in the table is actually a bit misrepresentative. Do you think that sounds about right?
Yeah, I think that's a really fair comment to make. I think we just kind of lose it a little bit tiny at the end, but I think today we've had some good time, had some good training time. I think we can really pull it back today, especially on home ground. I think it's going to be really exciting for the girls. I think all the girls are really ready to come out here and play today.
Katie was saying that this is a squad full of big personalities. There are some really exciting characters within this squad, and that makes them very, very fun to coach, because actually they manage to marry being huge personalities with being very inherently teachable as a squad. What is your experience of this group of girls, and how would you feel if you were in charge of them?
I wouldn't really know where to start if I was in charge of them. But no, so the Buxton Lightning pathway is so close, so we are really good friends with all of them. We know a lot of them. And I do think that they've trained really well. They've trained against us, they've trained together, watched them train, helped them. Regardless, they are a really good side, and I think that when they have the confidence to go, they'll be really, really good out here today.
Katie said that their season will really get started, she reckons, or rather it will really build some momentum from about the Christmas mark, because it does take a bit of time with a younger squad to find their feet. What would it mean to take the scalp of Hartpury today for their confidence?
I think this will really stem something really good for the rest of the season. I think from here we'll go up, and I think that'll be really exciting for the girls. And also I do think that going on through the season, a couple more Wednesdays' time, that we will be up there and we will end up gradually building up the table.
Hartpury without a couple of their stars today. The Premier 15s returns this weekend, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed that we'll see you in the mix as Loughborough head to Stonex Stadium to take on Saracens. But it does mean that Hartpury are without the likes of Amy Dale, Emma Singh, Mia Venner, names that people are familiar with from the WNL, from the Prem 15s, and even from the women's game. You know, the Six Nations Emma Singh has played in. Hartpury's set up, the college, the university, and the fact that 11 of the Red Roses squad have been involved in that pathway in some capacity. As someone who's seen it from the outside, what do you make of it? And do you think that other institutions should follow suit?
Well, I think Hartpury and Loughborough are very similar along this type of line. Like, we've had a lot of people come from our Loughborough College pathway up through, including myself, into the Lightning setup, and I think that this is something that's really important for the development of the game, and I do think that we thrive in this, and I know that coming from the college myself into Lightning, that this is something I was really excited for, and I think that as women get into the game more, I think this is something they should look into doing, especially if you're branching into new rugby and stuff like that.
One of Loughborough's finest was in that unbelievable Women's World Cup final on Saturday, and it feels like an odd thing to talk about at the start of the show, but I don't want to risk not getting the chance to ask you about it, Lily. Sarah Hunter, what has it been like playing alongside her and having her as a totemic figure that you can look up to as you take up the sport?
Yeah, when I first came into the squad at 17, I didn't really know where to start. I was having people like her, Scars. It was just a bit crazy, really. I didn't really know what to do when I was here. But then you start to get friends with them, and also being involved with like coaching and being coached by them. It's something that really helped me in my performance and my development in the game. So yeah, it was a crazy beginning, but now we're here. It's really good to call them teammates.
You mentioned it being a crazy beginning. Your ascent has been meteoric, and so too have those of a couple of these Loughborough players. Amelie Anstead, who's playing at fullback today for Loughborough, and Leah Green, who's playing at inside centre. They only took up rugby very recently. Green is a soccer convert, a football convert. Anstead came from netball. What is it about this setup and this programme here that allows people to switch so quickly and then immediately look to the manner born on a rugby pitch?
I think it's because of the support we can provide. Like, if someone wants to come and have a go, then equally we will help them. And also, if they have a talent, then we'll quickly get them onto the back and then we'll take them with us. And I think that's what's really good about our Loughborough pathway, is that we really spot talent early, and then we can hold on to that and we can progress that. Like people like Amelie, who a year ago didn't play rugby at all and played netball, to now playing on a Wednesday night, starting for Bucks. That's really, really exciting for her.
We can see them just emerging from the clubhouse in the background here at Loughborough University. Kickoff is just moments away. You mentioned Amelie, we've mentioned Leah. Who else in this Loughborough team should we be excited to see this evening?
I think we should definitely be really excited to watch Molly Anderson-Thomas. I think she's really good. Like, in training, when we've trained against her, I think under pressure with her kicks, she's really good. And I do also think we'll be excited to see Lisa Green. I've heard very good things, and again, watching her train, I do think that she's going to shine today, and I think a bit more time, she has a massive opportunity to do well in the game.
You mentioned Molly Anderson-Thomas being cool under pressure in training. I have a feeling that it's you putting all the pressure on her. Didn't you say you've been tasked with trying to charge down a lot of her kicks and seeing what she's really made of?
Yeah, I have been doing that a little bit, and to be fair, she's done very well to get away, and I've been really, really excited to see that from her, because I know then today she'll do really well.
Here they come then, Hartpury, the reigning cup champions, triumphant in that amazing final at Six Ways last year, and looking to get back to winning ways after coming unstuck last week against Exeter. It's just started drizzling here in Loughborough. They are a team that like to play quickly, so we will keep everything crossed that we see them on a dry track, because we really want to see that ball fizzed around. And by these players, let's take a look at how the sides line up this evening. So the hosts, as they make their way onto the field, coached by Katie Trevathan of Loughborough Lightning, Aaron Proctor, Pip Balcom and Lily Golf the front row. Keep your eyes on Molly Chartres wearing number 8. She's apparently a veritable workhorse and will be all around the park today. Lily Ives Campion to my right has picked out Molly Anderson-Thomas and Leah Green as her ones to watch, and Amelie Anstead switched from netball to rugby just a year ago, but looks right at home in this sport. Plenty of young stars amongst the finishers too. And then Hartpury, it's a familiar prop pairing of Evie Addy and Amber Robertson. Hannah Kibble, so influential in that final last year, and plenty of fizz amongst those backs. But it is Loughborough who get us underway and kick us off here at Epinal Way. We are up and running in this round 5 WNL fixture. It's received well by Hartpury, and they have a first chance to stretch their legs. So, Hartpury in the red, the reigning champions, third placed in the table, looking to bounce back from the first defeat of their season. Meeting a purple wave, an African violet wave, the defensive line of their hosts being tested. The first meaty chug from Evie Addy. She'll be absolutely everywhere this evening. Such an industrious front row. The ball spills loose, but it's gathered well by Clara Grizzle-Johnson. We'll come back for that one. Playing under an advantage there, Hartpury. The excellently named Clara Grizzle-Johnson wasn't involved the last time we live streamed this team, when we were at Kingsholm for that historic doubleheader against Cardiff Met. It was Emma Singh on the wing on that occasion. And Lily Ives Campion to my right, just raising a hand in frustration at the error there from Loughborough.
Yeah, I think that we could do a tiny little bit better there to gather that, but here we are. We've got a good line out, so it'll be exciting to see this.
First look at the scrum for the evening. So your front rows of Proctor, Balcom and Culf, and Robson, Amy Dale, such a formidable scrummager for Hartpury. I suspect being saved for Premier 15's duties later on in the week. But they've got such depth. 84 women in Natasha Hunt's programme this season. Plenty of muscle to draw upon, and they get a good shove on there. The ball is out through the hands of Priestnell. Picks out in the backfield Davies, who stretches her leg, somehow frees it. Scott manages to pounce upon it, but finds herself in an arm wrestle with her opposite number, Lucia Scott, up against Amelie Anstead. We're very excited to see those two fullbacks go head-to-head this evening. And it's Anstead who draws the knock-on. Another scrum right away, and in a fine exit position for Loughborough.
Yeah, I really hope that Molly can have a really good exit platform off this, and this will be really good as long as we can get a good chase. I think this would be a good platform for Loughborough to start playing.
Well, we heard before the match from Lily just how good her boot was. I also understand that Anstead, despite only switching from netball relatively recently, has got a cannon of a boot of her own. So they've got plenty of options as they look to exit here, but their scrum going nowhere fast. What a shove from the Hartpury pack. Referee's hands go up. That's a fairly kickable penalty. It'll be fascinating to see what they do here. What would you opt for?
I'd opt for a maul. Obviously, being the second row, this is something that I think was just no question to ask.
There we go, that's me told. Sit next to a forward in commentary, and they're always going to opt for the corner. It's buried deep by Charlie Manns taking that kick there. She does very well. Be a 5 metre line out here. And if the first 2 scrums were anything to go by, it's going to be a very hard drive to repel for Loughborough. Interestingly, taking the throw, not Anouk Veerkamp wearing 2, but actually Addy. The loose head sends it high and finds her tight head. Here is Robson. And Hartpury now 5 metres out, sniffing blood, looking to open their account, to bounce back to winning ways. On the subject of bouncing, what a tackle that was on Addy. Barking orders as Daisy Smith scrum half from the base of that one. Before the posts now, Hartpury. Reigning champions looking to put their mark on this one early doors. The way ahead is thick with purple shirts, the ball's knocked down, but they were playing under an advantage there, looking to go quickly as Smith fizzes out wide. Here is Priestnell dancing inside, lovely footwork from the fly half. Hotly contested, what a counter-up from Loughborough, they've turned it over. Lily is smiling beside me, it drops to the boot of Leah Green. The prodigious Thrasher who forces the knock-on, and what a defensive set from Loughborough.
Yeah, that was some really exciting rugby to watch there, and I think now we have a good platform to start. We can definitely get some ball to the wing.
And actually a fine exit under all sorts of pressure there by Leah Green. Dropped that to her laces really quickly, and she's found a good 20-25 metres there. Well, Hartpury back themselves to go long via the darts of Addy. It's a much shorter, more straightforward line out for Loughborough, but it gets the job done. And here is a first look at Sarah Shrestha. Trevathan told me in the week to keep an eye out for her. Apparently she's someone who pops up absolutely everywhere, an omnipresent open side, and we cannot wait to see her get to work. A little tricksy pass around the back from Scantlebury. Kicked out over the top. That's a horrible bounce. A lot to contend with there for Sarah Smart. She does well, and Loughborough slowly but surely exiting. So far, it feels to me like we haven't had a chance to see Loughborough with ball in hand, but do you think that might just, that's actually quite nice, it gives them a chance to get rid of any pre-game jitters, a chance to find their feet in this one?
Yeah, I think you said it right there, and I do think just having that 5 minutes or so really lets us get into ground, and as you can see, we're now getting on top, and with a good counter and a good defensive set, I think we'll do really well.
And that's a second fantastic counter, and now Erin Proctor has it up onto the halfway line, and now we get to see what Loughborough can do with ball in hands. Balcombe with a carry, taking plenty of red shirts with her. Lovely hands to the outside wing by Culf there. But it's good defensive work from Grizzle Johnson, who's had a couple of key interventions, using that touchline to her advantage, but not releasing in the tackle, according to the referee. Battersill draws that penalty there. And it will be Green on kicking duties. Italy qualified, apparently. You'd never guess it from the name Leah Green, but wearing purple today, could be wearing blue in the not too distant future. Who knows? Here is Lucia Scott. Absolutely magnetic viewing she was up against Cardiff Met in the rain at Kingsholm a couple of weeks ago. Such a hot young talent. Hope she gets plenty of ball in her hands today. Priestnell, quick little inside pass. And again, Loughborough with a fantastic counter-up. That's 3 consecutive turnovers with the ball on the floor there.
Yeah, that's just what we like to see. I think that defensive pressure, we've been really excited for that. And now let's just hope we can build a good platform and see if we can play a bit more of this.
As fantastic as it was to get the turnover there, Loughborough will not be pleased to have another scrum. The last 2 have gone decidedly the way of the visitors. But now's as good a time as any to change that record.
8, head in.
Weaver with the push-in. Followers of the Prem 15s will be familiar with Jess Weaver. She's popped up for Loughborough a few times over the years. Likes to go quickly, plays with real tempo, and she's not getting any tempo there.
Okay, keep it down for me, both sides.
And we'd caught a sniff of a bit of drizzle at kick-off, but it does seem to have immediately eased off, which is great news. We're looking for a high-scoring affair. They're currently 0-0 here at Appinall. Round 5 of the Women's National League. It is flying by. Just a reminder, Edinburgh sitting pretty at the top of that table. Exeter, Hartpury, Cardiff Met hot on their heels. And a win today for Loughborough It wouldn't just be the taking of a sizable scalp, but a real march up that leaderboard. Anderson Thomas fizzes out wide through the hands of Green. Here is a look at Smart on the wing, lightning quick, has an identical twin who also plays on the wing. What a duo they would be. That would be confusing. Weaver delays the pass, picks out Phillips, and all of a sudden Loughborough find themselves on the 22 for the first time of the day. It's another carry from Shrestha. First look at Dale, Lucy Dale with a big fend, and into the 22 they go. Loughborough now sensing an opportunity. Could this be the moment for Trevithick's women? It's out. Proctor axing scrum half. The ball is with Anstead. So slight of frame, but carrying hard into contact there, grabbing an extra couple of metres. Oh, the ball's stripped. What a turnover by Veerkamp.
Hands out now, Loughborough.
And Loughborough as close as they've been all afternoon, but now on the back foot, backpedaling. And here come the WNL champions. Waiting for that one was Addy. Little pirouette, pops it out. Grizzle Johnson wants it on the wing, but first a carry from Priestnell. Slow rock ball. Just an apology for any fruity language you might have heard on the ref mic. It's getting heated out there. Looks for all the world like Loughborough might. Yes, they've turned it over.
Penalty advantage, 10 red.
4 of the first 5 changes of possession in this match on the floor going the way of Lightning. Anderson Thomas picks it up,
10 red,
drops
offside.
it to her laces. They were playing under an advantage there. Offside was Abby Priestnell for Hartpury, so we'll come back for the penalty. What do you suspect they'll do here, Lily?
I think we're going to try and make the corner again, and I think this is something that Loughborough are notoriously good at, and hopefully we'll be able to see a drive from here, or even potentially just taking out the back to the backs.
Well, you called the first one, but this one actually headed for the posts by the look of it. And it's Leah Green who appears to be walking over for the tee. She slotted a 40-metre kick a couple of weeks ago, so she's really got a boot on her, which is all the more impressive, Lily, when you consider how recently she took up this sport. But I suppose if you've got a football academy calibre background, kicking off a tee is fairly easy.
Yeah, she'll think this is very simple, won't she?
So, to open the scoring, to get Loughborough up and running, here is Leah Green. Well, she had the accuracy, but not quite the range. It falls into the hands of Addy. It does well indeed, carries that a full 10 metres before she is brought down. Scoreless so far, but you can't take your eyes off this one. Changes of possession coming thick and fast, and there's another one. Balcom charges into that Hartpury defensive line. It's quicker ball for Weaver. This is better through the hands of Anderson Thomas. The ball bounces, it's loose. Chartres looks to pin it down, can't quite do so, and now Hartpury have it, and now Loughborough have it. It's tennis masquerading as rugby, this. Weaver picks out Shrestha. Weaver again. Single runners here, 1 out strike runners from Loughborough. Keeping it simple, keeping it patient. They know the importance of opening the scoring here, what that would mean, what momentum that would give them. Delayed pass, and such a flat one eventually from Green. Finds Smart on the wing. Well, we bigged up the head-to-head of Davis and Tutt, but so far it's all been taking place down this near side wing. Grizzle, Johnson and Smart absolutely at loggerheads. Hartpury's discipline, Lily,
come down,
developing into a bit of a theme.
Yeah, we have seen that. I think this is something they need to grasp, get a hold of quite early on in the game now, and I think hopefully after a bit of a talking to, they'll understand that we've got to go forward a little bit less of that.
It's been such a theme in the Autumn Nations Cup that we've seen in the men's game, that penalty counts almost every time predict the outcome of fixtures. I understand that 10 is the magic number. You want to stay below 10 penalties for a match. Hartpury on 2 and counting with just 13 minutes played. But the ball is out. It's plucked from the base by Whiteley. She does well to get it away, and it's a look at Scott. Always so dynamic before Grizzle Johnson has a gallop. Brought down, fearsome counter up from Scott, but what work at the breakdown that was from Anderson Thomas. We said it before the game, she's somebody who gets involved in every facet of the game, but brilliant turnover there.
Yeah, that's what we like to see from our 10s, and I think this is such a good opportunity for Loughborough now to have a counter-attack, and I think they'll be a bit frustrated with losing the ball quickly, but I think now we've got it back, we'll definitely be able to play.
How much confidence does it give you when you're out on the field and you are in the side who is routinely winning the breakdown battle?
I think that just allows you to have a good platform to play quicker ball, and I think as a ball carrier that when you know you've got good breakdown, you know that you have the ability to just play, and I think you don't get too scared, I suppose, about losing the ball, so I think it's always good to have more confidence in going forward.
That won't have done anything for the confidence of Weaver, an uncharacteristic drop off the back of that line out. But she gets a clap on the back from Balcom. Reminder that it's okay, it happens to the best of us. But no doubt, don't take your eyes off Jess Weaver, she'll be looking to make amends, and she's the sort of player who could produce some magic. Well, it's scruffy from the scrum, it's knocked on.
Come down, purple ball.
Loughborough will have the ball in the centre of the park as that formidable backline spreads itself out on this near wing. Just out of your picture, Sarah Smart, who's had a busy afternoon already. Near green, Ellen Scantlebury, the centres, out on the far wing. We haven't said her name yet, which is amazing, is Amelia Tutt. Looking forward to getting her in the game. And then Amelie Anstead, fullback, although currently lurking out on the wing. Hartpury scrum, strong again, the ball's out, it's with Weaver over the top. Into the hands of Green. Can Loughborough get that back line clicking? The names are so impressive, but the ball just goes astray. It's turned over, it's with Hartpury now. Possession is a precious commodity in this match, let me tell you that. Both sides struggling to build any attacking momentum. Do you think, Lily, this could be a case of who'll blink first?
Yeah, from what I've seen so far, I'm very excited to see how the outcome of this game comes. And I do think there's just silly little mistakes from each team, but I think everyone's a bit frustrated. And yeah, I think we're going to be exciting to see what happens in the next 20 minutes.
Neither side managing to string together, by the looks of it, more than 2 or 3 phases. It really is proving turnover after turnover, and like you said, some of the turnovers coming from brilliant counter-rucking and brilliant work at the breakdown from Loughborough in particular, some coming from the fact that Hartpury have definitely got the edge at scrum time, but half of them from knock-ons, from missed passes, from those little errors. So as soon as we've ironed those out, hopefully this one gets up and running. Just a reminder, do not go anywhere, because right after this match, Loughborough men will be hosting Cardiff in a top-of-the-table box Super Rugby clash. We'll be bringing you all of that action on our channels. Should be absolutely electric. A better scrum there from Loughborough gives them a good platform, and finally we're saying her name. Here comes Amelia Tutt. 5 tries in her last 3 outings for this side. That pass doesn't quite go to hand and trickles into touch, but just to look at her on that arcing run, such wheels, such a powerful, elusive runner.
Yeah, we know that she's come from a background of hurdling, so that's exciting for her. So it means she's a really strong runner, and yeah, that's why she's very good on the wing and she can get through.
Someone else who came from a hurdling background was Jess Breach. So clearly there's something about that particular athletic discipline that makes for particularly electric back 3 players. Addy with the darts, it's nicely done. Smith finds Priestnell, fumbles the catch, forced to drop it to her laces and hacks it on, but it's turned over immediately. The kick not going anywhere. Weaver digs it out. Quicker ball. Dale out wide. Green does really well to get that away, to kick it. Tut sets off in hot pursuit, but Hartpury have it now. And the women in red playing out of their 22. It's knocked on. Loughborough with a turnover and in a really strong position too.
Yeah, I'd really like them to have a good platform off this scrum and hopefully see if we can get anything off the back of it.
The last scrum looked better. I cannot pretend to know what it is like in the middle of one of those, but it's something that you do know. Did you see a discernible difference in the way that Loughborough approached that one? Because it felt like they held their own much firmer against Hartpury.
Yeah, I always think the first scrum of the game is always the hardest, but once you're in, you can really find yourself, and as long as you keep your feet on the floor, and I think exactly what we can see Loughborough doing, then they're going to win that ball back.
Keep your feet on the floor. There you go, scrummaging 101 with Lily Ives, Campion. Better platform, ball bounces loose.
Need a call, please.
Pouncing upon it was Amelia Tutt. Now, she's wearing that head tape because, from what I understand, she has split her eyebrow 3 times this year, twice in the last week. Is that possibly correct?
Yeah, this is something I wouldn't expect from a winger, but as we can see, then I don't know how she does it, quite frankly, but yeah, it was quite funny watching her train with a big tape around her head.
Doing her best Mr. Bump impression. It's always entertaining being on the university campus on a Wednesday. Just in front of our commentary position is someone dressed as a tiger in a full onesie and face paint. Never far from a reminder that you are on a campus. And from what I remember, Wednesday nights were always fun. No comment from the very professional athlete sat alongside me.
Yeah, I would be ashamed to say if I didn't think Wednesday nights were good fun.
Wednesday's great, Thursday's not so much.
Yeah.
Grizzle Johnson, not a regular name on this Hartpury team sheet. She's, as a rule, we've seen Venner out there, we've seen Singh out there on the wing, but I've been impressed by how many involvements she's had. She's seeking work, isn't she?
Yeah, I've known her from camps. We've been in camps currently recently, and she's a really good player, and I think that she's got a good aspirations to be on the wing. I think she'll be really, really valuable this league.
And she's calling her defensive line to rush up there on the blind side, but Loughborough send it the other way. Here's a look at Tutt. Somehow that bounces backwards and the taped winger does really well. What a leg drive through contact that was. All of that hurdling power to make a couple of yards and ensure quick ball. Chips over the top by Green. Here comes the counter-attack. Scott's cartwheeling through contacts. Oh, and brilliant hands there by the Hartpury forward to keep hold of that one. This is better from the reigning champions. Here is Addy. Down the blind side again, they go. Quick ball from Smith. Scott picks out Zhao. And onto the halfway line.
Penalty advantage, obstruction.
And they've got an advantage. The insurance policy here. Hartpury obstructed there by Smart, looking to free herself, extricate herself from that breakdown. And now with the advantage, what can they do? What a platform this is, centre of the pitch. Mans, lovely flat pass to pick out Hendy. She crashes up. We'll come back for the penalty advantage, but Lily, I think that's the first time that we've seen a little glimpse of just what these Hartpury backs can do once they build those phases.
Yeah, this is what's scary about them, I think. Their backs are very strong, and this is something we need to counter to and make sure our defence is good.
You know Pip Pendy very well from your time together in age groups. I'm going to give you a chance to speak about her prowess as a rugby player in a moment. But first of all, is it true that she's one of the clumsiest girls in the England setup?
Yeah, that is very true. I don't think we can go through a session without her falling over, which is it's always quite amusing.
Falling over something or falling over herself?
Usually herself, to be fair.
Okay, right, let's balance that. Let's right those wrongs. What is she like as a rugby player? Because she's been an ever-present for Gloucester Hartpury and for Hartpury University.
Yeah, I played with Pip against France last year, and I think that she's that player that when you don't think you can find a gap, she's a player that will find it, and that's what's really exciting about her. And alongside that, she's really quick, so even with that, she can back that up and get through the line.
So many future stars in and amongst these players. It's why we love this league. I mentioned already 11 Red Roses involved in the Hartpury setup. both of these sides, production lines for talent. And Hartpury again unstuck at the breakdown. These women in African Violet, they know how to play it on the floor. And straight up is Leah Green. A big puff of the cheeks. And she drills that one. Really quite some distance. Oh, misses touch, and here comes Scott. You don't want to give this woman an inch of space. Lucia Scott frees her hand, offloads it nicely. Picking out Veerkamp.
Use the edge of the line for me.
Green will be frustrated to have missed touch there.
Yeah, I think that would be a little bit frustrating for her.
But it is Loughborough's throw-in. Balcom eyes up her options. Oh, it's plucked from the skies. What a turnover that is by Glennie, involved in last year's final at Six Ways. She steals that one, clean as a whistle. It's messy. Hartpury find themselves going backwards. They're camped out on their 22, as they have been for a while now. Early territory was all in favour of the visitors, but it's been Loughborough who've been applying the pressure of late. Smith
take him back in.
Looks to her right, looks to her left, and opts to send it into the pocket. Charlie May-Mans. Such a Maisie carrier, lovely work out onto the wing. Picks out Davies, the Welsh under-20. Scott just brilliantly to free her hands. That's better from the Hartpury backs. Loughborough looking for another turnover on the floor. But Hartpury proved robust in that instance. It's back, it's with Smith. Oh, and offsets Robson, Amber Robson. Tiptoeing through the tackle there. And two props doing things that props have absolutely no right to do. The width on that pass from Addie was magnificent, but it just evaded the clutches of Grizzle Johnson. Loughborough come up with the penalty, but how about that break from Evie Addy?
14 pulled the player back without the ball.
Yeah, that's really exciting from Amber. I think she's a big, powerful girl. And I've been playing for her previously. That's something I would not want to come up against if I was defending.
Amber Robson, we've given all the credit there to Evie Addy in the moment, but Robson, take a bow. That was a fine line break down the centre of the field. So, cookie cutter, Loughborough with a line out in a very similar position. The last one stolen by Alex Glennie of Hartpury. They'll look to win this one back. Hartpury just about edging the scrum battle on the line-out one. Proving tricky, but that's better. Weaver fizzes it out quickly to Trester, who makes real inroads, and it takes half of Hartpury to stop her. 20 metres made there, so how frustrating that one was just knocked on.
You're right.
We were a little way away from half-time, Lily, but what will Katie be saying? What will both the coaches be saying to their sides about these handling errors?
I think it's just we've got to get ball to hand, and I think it's just a simple rugby just to go forward now. I think that it's like if we can get a good catch pass, I think that's just what's going to win this game. At this point in time.
It sounds so simple. Why is it proving so difficult?
I think it's just because Hartpury are giving a lot of pressure to Loughborough. I think equally Loughborough are giving a lot of pressure to Hartpury. So I think this is why handling errors are happening, but this is what makes the game very exciting.
Loughborough's scrum again. You mentioned it, Lily. It's been getting stronger. It's in ascendancy, and the pressure shows. What a knock on at the base.
Yeah, we can see it's 0-0, 27 minutes. I think it's going to prove itself to be a very exciting game over here at the uni.
We've used the expression already, but it is who blinks first. Who is going to seed first? And at this stage, in a match this low scoring, the next score will really affect the complexion of this at half-time, won't it? It's a long way back to those changing sheds. You really want to be the one jogging back, knowing that you've got the upper hand. What a shove from Hartpury. Weaver coming up under all sorts of pressure, but illegally, so Loughborough have an advantage, getting the ball out wide. The ball's freed. Was that forwards? I think it might well have been.
Lost a
but playing beneath that advantage. Loughborough will have a chance to go again.
Seven,
I can't
you need to
remember
stay
the
down
last
till
time,
ball's
Lily, that
out.
we've seen the ball down the other end of the field. Territorially, Loughborough have got this one right.
Yeah, they definitely have now. I think they've really found themselves, and I think this is where they're going to end up staying for the rest of this half.
Will they be confident they can beat Hartpury? Take your purple hat off for a moment. The table suggests that Hartpury are very much favourites to this, but as we've discussed, Loughborough came unstuck against two of the greats of this league by very, very small point margins, and it is a very strong side. Do you think they'll honestly have come into this one thinking it is theirs for the taking?
Yeah, I don't think the table's a strong reflection of Loughborough at the moment, but I think that with the training that we've had, I think they should be really confident themselves going into this game. Like, they've had a lot of preparation, and I think this is something they're going to really thrive upon.
Speaking of thriving, how about that driving maul? Loughborough meters out now. We're 0-0 approaching the halfway mark, but you get a sense that's all about to change. Here comes the purple wave. Katie Trevathan will be watching on over to her forwards, a position she knows incredibly well. And she will want them to come away with something here. They've been edging the arm wrestle, Loughborough. They deserve something from this. Meters out, the hand goes up. And we've just said it. Hartpury are the reigning champions. Hartpury are third in the table, but write this Loughborough side off at your peril. They open the scoring at Eppinal Way. What a try for Sarah Shrestha to open their accounts and just remind us what Loughborough can do. That was all born of finding some composure after minutes and minutes of sustained pressure.
Yeah, and that just proves exactly what Loughborough can do when we get into these positions on the pitch. And this is really exciting to watch. I think everyone will be really happy about how they're playing right now, and this is the confidence that we need to take into the second half and also for the remainder of this half to see if we can potentially get another score on under the posts.
Well, that's a nice straightforward conversion for Sarah Smart, who lines this one up. And it's just pulled wide. The flags stay down. It will remain a 5-point score. Lily, you've just touched on it there. It's so important that Loughborough don't immediately concede off the back of it. We see it so frequently, particularly in matches where points are hard to come by. What will they be saying right now to make sure that off the back of this kick-off?
I think patience.
Yeah.
Patience is going to be a key word in there. I think to gain patience, they need to be able to get territory, carry on going down the pitch and just keep doing what they're doing. But I think, yeah, right now they really need to compose themselves.
Composure.
Gone backwards.
Well, they didn't get the memo. It's a deep, high kick-off from Charlie Manns. Plenty of hang time on that, and it finds itself dribbling into touch.
Line out. Went backwards into touch.
But deemed to have gone backwards, so that is something. Although Hartpury will be licking their lips at the opportunity to strike back immediately. A word from Veerkamp.
Nine or you back? You're playing 9 and you
figuring
need to
out
drop
how they'll
10.
play this one. Grisel Johnson awaits on this near touchline.
Hold it.
It's clean at the line-out. They play it safe, play it short. And here comes their driving maul. A big red engine just beginning to purr now, and they find themselves 10 metres out. Hartpury looking to strike back immediately. Loughborough did so well down the other end in attack. How's their defence? It's Lola Whitley with the carry. Out through the hands of Manns. Looping pass to nobody. Luckily, Scott's there to gather. Came off her leg, bounced backwards. It's messy, and Loughborough's line speed is voracious. Hartpury up onto the 22 now. Plenty of options to that open side. Robson, fresh from that barnstorming carry down the centre of the field, adds another one through the hands of Whitley. Just seemed knocked on, and Loughborough get away with that one.
Yeah, that was
Come down.
That was a bit intense for a moment there, and I think Loughborough can really come back here with this scrum, and I think they're going to really thrive in this area of the pitch to try and get out of it.
How much does it mean in a game like this, scoreless at 30 minutes, to be the first ones to draw blood?
I think this is that. I think that, like what you just said, I think it's really important for the first team to score, and that they can carry on continuing what they're doing. And for the team who hasn't scored, I think this is where you know, as a team you come together and you try and pace yourself, get patience, and try and, again, just try and get a try, because then you know it's only 5 points between it.
5 points, absolutely nothing when you've got scorers like these in town. Hartpury's scrum has just been immense. Travathan will have words to say to her troops at half-time. They've got to shore that particular set piece up, but the clearance kick is good. Scott, though, proving elusive, pirouetting through contact there. Smith, quick ball to Battishill. Ball dribbles loose.
Not rolling away there.
But the tackler not rolling away. Hartpury come up with the penalty, and what a position for it. Smith wonders about going quickly. But in fact, it is passed back to Mans, who's eyeing up this near touchline. 6 minutes left to play. And it's well fielded by Smart. Oh, the flag just goes up. She must have just grazed a painted blade of grass there with her boots. I thought she'd fielded that one.
Yeah, so did I. But yeah, as long as we have a good defence in the lineup now, then hopefully we should win the ball back.
You've said the words patience and composure a couple of times in the last couple of minutes. It's going to count in spades for both sides as halfway draws near. Loughborough, 5th in the WNL table, leading Hartpury at Epping away, 5 points to 0. Looks like that might have been a smidge overthrown, but it's all right because Robson is beneath it and adds a trademark trundling carry up the centre of the park. Hartpury looking to string together some phases. We've been looking for patience, we've been looking for composure, and they are being really sorely tested here because the counter-rucking, the defence from Loughborough has been immense. Don't know what they had for breakfast, these women, but they are all over everything. Priestnell. Here is Zhao. Fantastic hit by Weaver. There's a mismatch there, but she did really well to stop the blindside in her flanks. Dancing back inside is Priestnell. Smith. Picking out Addy on a hard and direct line. Again, quick ball here. Don't know if she's watching on, but head coach Mo Hunt will be pleased with this. This is better from Hartpury. Smith again. Through the hands of Battishill. There's plenty of space on the wing. There's an overlap if they can just use it. Here goes Larry Davis, dances inside, frees herself and jots it down to level the scores. Absolute delight for Hartpury. And it doesn't get much more evasive than that from Davies. What a finish.
Yeah, this is what I thought was going to happen, especially with all this attacking in R22. And I think, to be fair, it was well deserved. I think they did really well to get the ball to width. And yeah, unlucky defence from Loughborough, but it makes the game exciting now with a try each.
Things beautifully poised with halfway drawing near. The conversion still to come, of course. But Larry Davis, who scored a brace in that amazing final last year at Six Ways, Welsh under 20, still only in her 2nd year of her studies. Gorgeous dancing feet. But would you, and not just saying this as a forward yourself, but that was really made by the forwards, suckering in that Loughborough defence with phase after phase of those patient, repeated, disciplined efforts.
Yeah, and that's what forwards are there to do. I think that's their role on the pitch, is to really run those lines in, right into the forward, so they really condense the team so we can get space on the wing.
What a conversion that was. The ball sails between the uprights and Hartpury managed to make it a 7-pointer. They're a whisker ahead with 3 minutes left to play of the half. Might be able to see across the bottom of your picture, there's a bit of a crowd starting to trickle in now. It's definitely getting noisier out there. So, what have Loughborough got? Can they respond in just the way that Hartpury did and look to strike back immediately? Ball in 2 hands, Priestnell receives the restart and dances her way infield. Addy, she's got fantastic hands, as Evie Addy. Davis, try scorer, wrapped up, ball pops out, ball's knocked on, ball goes purple.
Yeah, that was a great counter from Loughborough there, and I think this is what they need now to go forward in the game to hopefully get another try.
Two minutes then until half-time. Scoreless for 30 minutes. Tries are like buses, honestly. You wait and you wait and you wait, and then two come along at once. This one's just starting to heat up nicely. So the two scrum halves, Smith, Weaver with the put in though. Hartpury's scrum, just a big red tractor, making crucial feet and inches every time. That's a lovely bit of interplay there between Green and Scantlebury. It's gathered by Grizzle Johnson. Does well to present it backwards, despite tumultuous work at the breakdown by Loughborough. Whitley carries it back into contact. Scott looked to free her hands there, played it safe, carried into heavy traffic, popped it backwards, quick ball. Hartpury are looking dangerous now, really starting to find their feet. This is the team that lifted the trophy at Six Ways last year. Mans, ball in two hands, slaloms past a couple of purple shirts. Addy fizzes it out to the wing. Here goes Davies again. Davies is free, pins her ears back, gets on her bike, and she has a brace in a matter of moments. You give that girl an inch, and she will destroy the lead that you had so painstakingly built. Larry Davies with a second.
Yeah, that was unbelievable from her, and I think I didn't realise how quick she was until just then, and I think that's so good for Hartpury, being able to go up on the wing like this, and yeah, very comfortably a second try just before the half finishes.
She's not a big player, but the strength to make that fend without costing herself any speed or balance, and then to accelerate. I mean, that final 15 metres, like you said, she's quick.
Yeah, that was unbelievable. I wish that I could do something like that. But yeah, no, that was unreal from her, and I think she should be really happy with herself. And I think Hartpury will be much more happier going to the change room now with a, what's that, 7-point lead? Yeah,
good match.
Should be good.
Yeah, that's fine, I think.
So she slotted a really tricky one moments ago. Can Charlie Mans make it a pair of conversions? Here come the chasers from Loughborough, but that is a very fine nudge indeed. She's brought her kicking boots to Eppinal Way, and that seals a remarkable turnaround in a game which took a while to stutter into life, but is really sparkling now. Hartpury leading 14 points to 5 at the halfway mark. Sarah Shrestha opening the scoring for the hosts with 30 minutes play before a brace from Wales's Larry Davies, both converted by Charlie Mans, playing it inside centre today. Your thoughts, Lily?
I think this is the game I was expecting. I think Loughborough have done really well to defend against Hartpury. I think, like I said earlier, the position on the table doesn't reflect how Loughborough have been playing, and this is a game that we all expected, but also I think Loughborough have done really well to step up to the challenge that they've been faced with, and I think the second half is going to get even more good with content of rugby, and I think that Loughborough are hopefully going to do really well and come back with a few tries, but yet again their defence has been really good. They're counter-rucking, their pressure in defence, I think, from both teams, to be fair, have done really well, so it can only get more exciting now.
What is Katie Trevathan, head coach, saying right now? We can see her with her blue notepad, bravely wearing shorts. It's about 5 degrees out there. What's she barking orders about?
Katie's always in shorts, no matter what time of the year. But no, I think she'll definitely be talking around, she'll be talking about keeping composure, but also I think our handling, like I said earlier, I think as long as we keep our catch pass simple, then that's what's going to get us through to the game. And I also think that Loughborough, if we can play to an edge a bit quicker or potentially play through a little bit more, that we should hopefully, like I said earlier, condense the defence and hopefully open up space on the edge.
Both of Hartpury's scores coming down that left wing with Davies. We know she's a danger player. She will have been someone that before this match Loughborough were well aware they needed to contain, but they both came from very different scenarios. One was punch, 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 and then speed down the wing, and the other one was just an opportunistic break from her. When you're conceding in different ways like that, how do you look to shore up your defence? Because you can't cover every base.
Yeah, this is where your process is this is where it's really important, and this is where I think Loughborough just need to go back to, and I think our process is our fold around the breakdown and keeping width and all going up together, and I think our pressure off the line, this is where now going into the second half is something that we really need to focus on.
Well, Lily, you've got a lovely festive Starbucks coffee in front of you. We both do, and I know we both want to get to work on them, but I think it's only fair that we take a look back at the first half highlights. So you take a quick sip while I set the scene. Let's have a look at what happened in the opening 40 minutes. Hartpury started really, really brightly. The first 5 minutes was all heading down to the right. of the field from where we've been sat. Loughborough did manage to wrestle back some momentum, mostly through breakdown work, and found themselves scoring through Shrestha at the halfway mark.
Yeah, that was a lovely try to see, with the really good maul to begin with and then the picks off that. And I think that's just something that kind of sums up Loughborough's forwards. And I think for us, that's exciting for us to keep ball in hand and then play with momentum, which is something we've always been working on. But I do think, like, after the first 5 minutes, Loughborough really found themselves and what kept them down in the 22. But I think Gloucester, after that, probably had a bit of a waking up moment. And I think that's when they decided their counter-attack and to get some more tries over us.
And Lowry Davis, I mean, we've waxed lyrical about her already, but she has got gas in spades. And someone else who I've been impressed by every time I've seen her play this season is Charlie May-Mans. Plays at 10, plays at 12, kicks her goals, turns the ball over, makes breaks. I mean, I could just basically list all of the things that you can do with a rugby ball, but what have you made of her performance?
Yeah, she's been on the team for a while now, and I think she's unbelievable to play against, to play with, and I do think that she's got a really good future ahead of her. I think today she's been doing really well to pick off spaces, pick off defenders, and this is what's really exciting about her as a player, and especially going forward with Gloucester. I think she's got a really good opportunity to shine there.
She's a very impressive player, and how amazing to hone your craft under the tutelage of Natasha Hunt. I mean, it must just be amazing to train with her as your coach week in, week out, in the same way that Loughborough have got Katie Trevarthen. You're now playing with Katie, somebody that you will have worked with in that coaching role as well. How does that relationship change when you go from being someone being instructed by somebody and then all of a sudden you're putting on a jersey next to one another?
I think me and Katie have got a really good relationship, and I think this is purely because we both respect each other and respect what each other do, and I think this is on pitch, off pitch. She's a lovely person. We both work really well together, and especially Lou said second row, I think we have to have a good relationship. But yeah, I think it doesn't differ too much. I think, like I said, it's our respect we have for each other. So if she's coaching, and then again being on the pitch with her.
She's looking very animated now. It was really lovely getting to speak to her in the week about some of her ones to watch on the side, her experience getting into coaching. But what I found particularly engaging and charming was her saying what a fun bunch this Loughborough team are. She says they're youthful, they're full of energy, they're full of characters, different characters. And she says, and I quote, they're always up to mischief. What does she mean by that? Have you got any inside knowledge you can provide?
I don't necessarily have too much inside knowledge that I can say here, but yeah, I can only agree they are a crazy bunch, and that's what makes them so good to play with and be friends with. And I think this team has definitely got a really good dynamic of friendships, and yeah, that's what makes us really good.
How will they bounce back from conceding 2 tries in quick succession, because that was a hammer blow?
I think we'll talk about our confidence and then our playing with momentum. I think that's what's going to get us into this second half.
And for Hartpury, they are in the lead. But actually, I reckon if we had stats in front of us, it would suggest that Loughborough should be in that position. So Hartpury won't be complacent here, will they? They know that they need to not only build upon that lead, but actually improve their performance.
Yeah, definitely. And I think Loughborough feel like they're going to have a point to prove now. I think our defence was just a tiny little bit off. That's why we conceded 2 tries. But I think now, like, we're going into the second half, we're going to get some more tries. And I think our mentality will have changed and switched into playing a little bit more.
Well, hopefully we had 30 minutes of sort of tennis-esque, chess-matchy rugby, and now the floodgates have opened and the scores will come thick and fast. So here we go, the second half at Epinal Way. Loughborough trailing Hartpury 5 points to 14, but it's still very much all to play for. Weaver able to get a lovely quick call courtesy of those rampaging Lightning forwards. Their work rate has been magnificent. Through the hands of Phillips, out to the wing, chipped up over the top. Plenty of height on that one. It's going to head into touch. Interesting to see where the line judge ends up, because that was a tricky bouncing ball. Just on the 22 by the looks of it. Great territory game for Loughborough to start the second half.
Yeah, what we said about Green, I think she's a great player, and I think she's got really good potential to develop now, and I think this is really proving today. And I think when she gets the ball opportunity to kick, this is where she really shines.
It is so exciting to think this is just her second season playing the sport. A team that I loved watching in the Rugby World Cup was the USA Eagles, and you read their backstory. So many of them weren't playing rugby until a few years ago, and then there they are reaching the quarterfinals at a World Cup. It is a sport that if you've got inherent athletic ability you can get very good at very quickly, can't you, with the right coaching?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of names in the England squad at the moment, especially in the Sevens squad as well, who have come from various sports, who have come into rugby, and I think that's what's so good about the sport. There's a position there for everyone. There's 15 different positions. I think if you're coming from a different sport, there's somewhere you can always fall back into. And I think that what makes the game so versatile and really good dynamic with people and bringing people together.
There definitely is a position for everyone, but these meaty carries coming in from the Hartpury forwards, that is a special skill in and of itself. But Loughborough again turning it over. I would love to know the turnover stats for this one. We've talked about the kicking of Green. This one comes from Anderson Thomas, plenty of height on it, but we're going to come back for a penalty while one of the Hartpury players receives a little bit of attention towards that far touchline. It looks like it's Alex Glennie.
Sorry, it was head.
Just having her, receiving a little bit of attention on her knee. While, and that's lovely to see. Ellen Scantlebury's just been doing up Lucy Weaver's laces for her. Is this something that I didn't know? Can Lucy Weaver not tie a bow?
I'm pretty sure she can. Maybe she's just a little bit tired.
Cold fingers, perhaps.
Yeah, we'll say that.
Lovely stuff. She definitely can't tie a bow, can she? So really, really good to see. She's back on her feet, is Alex Glennie. Jogs back into that line. Bit of a ginger swing of her knee. It's Loughborough with the penalty, and it is Green who will look to put her laces through it and send it as far as she can. And we are back onto the edge of that 22.
7. Don't question my trick judges, please. Thank you.
Just a little word to one of the players to not question the touch judges.
Balls away.
The raise of an eyebrow to my right. Definitely don't want to see that sort of thing in rugby.
No, I think Loughborough have got a good opportunity now to set a base to play, and this is going to be good.
It was Becky Boyd who rose the highest to claim that one and bring it down. The maul splinters. There's a breakout pod of forwards, and they're up onto the 22. Weaver fizzes it to Canna Williams, the Welsh under-20, and now down the blind side they go. This is the area of the park where Hartpury enjoyed so much success in the first half. Can Loughborough add a score of their own down that magical left wing? Williams again. 2 involvements in quick succession for the replacement looseheads.
Penalty offside, 10 red, you're offside.
Hartpury pings for being offside. Loughborough with a free hit here. What will they opt to do with it? Green drops it to her laces. Tricksy little kick through. It's fielded really well by Scott. And she was being pulled up there by the referee, but we did get a glimpse of those magical mazy feet.
10 red, offside.
Yeah, this is going to be a good opportunity for Loughborough now to see if we can utilise our forwards to get the ball over the line.
Up comes Weaver. It looks like they might be going quickly here. And they do. The ball is under Shrestha's arm. Try scorer in that first half.
Okay, she took it out, that's fine.
Lily mentioned the Loughborough forwards. Now we're getting a look at them doing what they do best, causing absolute mayhem at this end of the pitch. It's a big counter ruck by Hartpury, but up over the top of it charges Boyd. She's held up, looks to spin to free her hands to get the ball away, going nowhere quickly. Maul is formed. And Loughborough now, meters away. This would narrow the gap considerably. This would get them right back into the fight here. Curden Jones adds a carry of her own. Shrestha goes again. She has been everywhere. And Loughborough, inch by inch, patient, repeated efforts. Shrestha lines up another one, carries hard. Oh, she was over the line there, but forced backwards, did really well to keep the ball in her possession. Plenty of width if they could just use it, but Loughborough opt to not use the overlap. Visit over the top, Anstead has it. It's tricky, it bounces, but she diffuses it. So many of her backs in support. Weaver does brilliantly well to pick out Balcom, who adds a carry. Loughborough going backwards, but they're building the phases now. A real head of steam for the hosts. And Epinal Way is definitely getting more vocal, cheering their women on. Shrestha again, that's 4 carries in this single offensive set. She is tireless. That's a big carry from Scantlebury. But Hartpury, got to credit them. The line speed is amazing. Loughborough are going backwards, but they're stringing phases together here. And here is Green dancing inside.
I think Hartpury have done really well here to keep Loughborough out there 22. Not exactly what they're going to want, but hopefully they can get back in there.
Definitely the most phases we have seen from Loughborough, but equally the most potent we have seen that Hartpury defence in desperation. Anderson Thomas puts boot to ball. It's a tricky bounce. Loughborough set off in hot pursuit. I think we're playing under an advantage there, and in comes the captain. Let's just have a listen into this, Lily, and see what our referee has to say.
Number of offsides now. I need your players to move back. I'm standing there, and they're coming up. Make sure they're moving back, please.
Repeated infringements, and Loughborough with a penalty right on the cusp of the 22. Surely they can go for the jugular here. They can play really fast and loose if they want to.
Yeah, I think they have that in the locker to do that, but it'll be interesting to see what they play off this line out here.
Take the start of the line for me, edge of the line.
Must be so frustrating as a captain being in this part of the field, and at that moment the referee deciding, I'm having too many of these, I'm putting up my hand too much in one direction.
Yeah, it comes down to our discipline again. Well, Hartpury's discipline at this point as well, and I think that's something they're going to be really frustrated about. I think they probably had chats with that at half-time, so hopefully they can, this is their last warning now, and they can hopefully do something about it.
Well, if Sarah Shrestha were being paid by the carry, she would be the richest woman in the Midlands right now. She has been absolutely immense. Another carry hard off the back of that one. Leaves her team just a couple of metres short. That was Phillips, adding a couple of yards. And here they go again. Becky Boyd in the backfield, the tall figure, wearing number 19 in that white thermal, barking orders. So many options to the right, but Loughborough opts to send it left. Anderson Thomas gets her head down. Weaver lending her body to the breakdown, expect another pick and go. Here it comes, driven backwards by Hartpury. Their defence has been rock solid, but you can't help but feel that Loughborough have been banging on the door for long enough now. Surely a score is in the offing, but held up. Hartpury's defence in this second half, Lily, has been absolutely gargantuan.
Yeah, I can only agree. It's been very, very good, and they should be really pleased with themselves with how they've coped with this. Loughborough have been in their half now for what, 8 minutes, and I think this is just exciting for Hartpury to see how much they can do.
Well, they failed to find touch with that clearance and offered an awful lot of space to a couple of seriously speedy operators. Sarah Smart, look at this line from her here. Ball under one arm, amazing arm drive and a looping pass to serious finisher Amelia Tupp. I think it was just aimed forward.
Yeah, I did think that. Yeah, unlucky but that, but here we are. We have another scrum for Hartpury, so hopefully they can see themselves come out of their half.
What an embarrassment of riches to have Sarah Smart and Amelia Tupp to choose from back three-wise. And then, of course, Anstead at full-back.
Yeah, bit of a crazy back three for Loughborough here today. Hopefully we can see them shine.
Just want to see their hands on the ball a little bit more, don't we? Interesting rearrangement at the back of this Loughborough scrum. Bit of a switch about between the back rowers, change of roles. Wonder what that was about. But Hendy brought down by Anderson Thomas. Hartpury have defended valiantly in this opening 10 minutes of the second half. They still have the lead, though they've scarcely touched the ball. Speaking of touching the ball, George Russell there, player of the match in last year's final. She is a first carrier, first involvement. Have you played alongside her much?
I don't think so, no. I think she's always been that age group above me, but I have heard a lot about her as well.
She's an absolutely ballistic back rower, does everything, carries so hard, but equally got a sevens background, been involved in the sevens setup, and you can tell because when she gets open space, she absolutely flies. Okay, water break, 10 minutes into the second half. Which huddle is the happiest?
I think Hartpury, I think they're going to be the happiest at the moment. They've done so well to defend that close to their line for that period of time. I think they should be really happy with that, but I also think they're going to have a bit of frustration as well because they don't want to be pinned there for that long. They're definitely going to want to get out of their half and definitely into Loughborough's 22 now.
2 changes already from Katie Trevarthen. She's brought Canna Williams on and Becky Boyd. Do you think those are tactical changes? Do you think she might be saving bodies? What do you read into that? Because that's very early to go with change of personnel.
I think we know what game this is going to be, and I think this is a pure test of physical strength. So I think bringing on another front row replacement is going to be really good in our scrum. So hopefully we can get more dominant in that, as we saw from the last scrum. That was a lot better scrum from Loughborough, so that was good to see. So I think that's what's really exciting about how versatile our replacements are.
We all know the Springboks bomb squad, but we've not seen Loughborough's yet. Here they come, making their mark immediately. Addy just having a word with her fellow forwards. As Green drills that one onto the 22. Bounces back in field. Really lovely conditions this evening. Still as you like, nice and dry. We've talked over and over about what a quick track this is. Just need those backs to get their mitts on the ball a few more times. So Loughborough's throw over the top this time of Boyd. She's caught everything so far, but offsets Robson. She is having an unbelievable game in open play. 40 metres made up by the tight heads. What an impact she has when she can just get her hands on the ball and shrug off defenders like that. Just like that. Hartpury up onto the 22. Lovely hands from Addy. There's width if they can use it. Scott gets on her bike. Lucia Scott! She is prolific, lethal, rapid. Pick your praise. Fullback who really does it all. What a finish. What a score.
Yeah, that was unbelievable, and that's just how dangerous Hartpury are. They get one step of the ball and that's it. They've gone away with it. Especially from Amber Robertson, how good is that to be able to run 40 metres across the pitch and then get a score off it? It's unreal from her.
And you want to point fingers and wonder what the issues were defensively with Loughborough for that break, but she was just quicker than everyone.
Yeah, she did have a bit of pace behind her there.
And then the presence of mind of Mans under a lot of pressure, because the line speed there was impressive. Loughborough's scramble defence looked really robust there, but to get that ball over the top to Scott,
it probably wasn't nice.
That was the killer blow there.
Yeah, her skills are unbelievable, and I think that's what makes her a really unique player, that she can use that skill set under pressure.
We'll be looking at another one of her skills now. She places the ball down on the tee. A straightforward conversion by her lofty standards. She's nailed a touchline one already today. This to extend the lead. And very nicely managed indeed. We talk a lot in this sport about red zone efficiency, but Hartpury proving there it's not even about being in the red zone, it's just efficiency. One chance, one opportunity, without sounding too much like Eminem, and they get the score.
Yeah, and that's what rugby's all about.
Is it panic stations yet for Loughborough, or will the message still be composure?
I think the message will still be there. They had a big amount of time and a lot of opportunity to score in the 22. If we can get back there and actually complete that, then I think that they'll have a really good opportunity to come back with a score here. I just think that was a very lucky break from Amber Robertson, and I think that Loughborough have now got a really good opportunity on this chase. Just keep Hartpury back there.
Well, it's a deep old restart, and who else but Charlie Mans to field it? Sends it back up towards the halfway line. Composure still the word of the day for the women in African Violets. They'll be over to the men soon, taking on Cardiff, a top of the table clash. Don't know how up to speed you are with your Bucks Super Rugby, Lily, so I'm going to pop you right on the spot. What are you expecting from that one? Are you going to stick around for the game?
Yeah, I will be. I'll go meet my housemates outside to watch it, and I think that'd be a really good game. I think Loughborough have done really well recently, and a lot of good wins under the belts, I think. And also playing at home with a big crowd, always big crowds comes out, so I think they'll really thrive off that.
We've heard
First knock on by blue, then by red. Come down.
double knock on. We'll have a scrum right in the centre of the field. We've heard people talk a lot over the years about home advantage in Bucks Super Rugby, in Bucks sport in general. What is it like playing on this field when a good old crowd turn up? Can you put it into words?
That's quite hard to say, but I think it's just unbelievable. I think having a big crowd here when you're playing here, because you're right on the pitch, and you just get so much confidence, and I think that just makes you want to play even harder.
It's easy to keep your cool. You've talked a lot about composure today. How easy is it to maintain that when there are hundreds, if not thousands, baying for blood?
I can say that, but I think at the moment it's a lot harder than it is.
I do not doubt it.
Nothing coming.
Well, Hartpury coming again here. They've really got their tails up. There's an air of confidence about them now. And it didn't in that case, but the passes are beginning to stick. They have the penalty. Weaver, I think it was, caught offside there, so Mans.
I think this is where discipline, especially in this part of the field, is going to be really important for Loughborough now. Hopefully to keep a clean sheet for the next 10 minutes, and then we'll hopefully see where we can go.
Interesting to note that discipline is just starting to swing pendulum-esque from Hartpury being the ones getting pinged to Loughborough. Just shows what pressure does, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a good way to explain it. I think pressure, you can see now that pressure's building for Loughborough. They've had such a long time over basically on the try line, and I think now they let it slip a tiny bit, but they'll be able to bring it back.
Looks like there's been a change at hooker for Hartpury. Chelsea Matthews into the fray. Hartpury leading by 16. 25 minutes left to play in this one. Loughborough looking to take a sizable scalp. Hartpury now on the hunt for a bonus point score. They've got 3 tries to their name. One more to potentially leave Epinal away with 5 points in the bag. These two sides will meet again in the final round of action. They will face each other on February the 15th. A nice little Valentine's Day WNL clash. It's Loughborough who won this one in resounding fashion when they met last year in Loughborough. But that's not been the tale of the tape so far here. So Hartpury in attack. Russell carries, gets back to her feet, goes again. Bit of meat left on the bone. Managing such impressive yardage as she so often does. Fellow back rower Kibble drops a shoulder, drives hard. Weaver ferocious on both sides of the ball. She really does play with such pace. Oh, referee in amongst it. Hendy stripped brilliantly by Shrestha. That looked like a high tackle to me. Yes, and Loughborough have the advantage. Lily was calling for discipline from the women in African Violet, and it is ill discipline from the women in red that have cost them. But possession is handed back right away. We will come back for that advantage. I was told before the game by Katie Trevathan, head coach of Loughborough, to keep an eye on Sarah Shrestha. She has been one of, surely, the lead performers in almost every metric today.
Yeah, she's really thriving at the moment. I think her ball carry skills are really good. She loves a bit of contact, so that's what makes her really good, because she'll just get in there, and especially with her body height, it's so hard to tackle her, especially for the Hartpury team, so I think she does well.
She's been involved in the Irish under-18 setup, has Shrestha. Very intrigued to see where her rugby takes her. And there's another Irish great watching on, because Sam Monaghan, in the absence of Mo Hunt, who's at the Premier 15's launch day today, Sam Monaghan is lead coach this evening. Ireland's Player of the Year for 2022, just signed for Gloucester Hartpury from Wasps. An absolute charge-down machine, something that you and she have in common, Lily. So, Loughborough putting a bit of width on the ball. That was very nice. Oh, and just struggling to get a hand to it was Sarah Smart. Not quite sure what the touch judge made of that. It looked, for all the world to me there, like that had gone into touch past Smart.
Yeah, I think that's a decision that might be made. Yeah. Yeah, that's a decision that's been made. So Hartpury ball now.
Looked like the referee was calling for a scrum there, which threw me.
Yeah,
but no,
I did think that also.
Maybe she was just having a little dance, doing a little stamp. There we go. So, Matthews, pinpoint last time, with her second dart of the evening. Sends it high, but not straight. It's an overused expression, but as someone who's involved a lot at line-out time, how much of a coach killer is a not straight line-out?
Yeah, that really, they are probably the most frustrating ones, but also there's also nothing you can do about it. You just have to crack on and then carry on after that.
Just have to crack on. The case in so many instances on a rugby field. So Weaver looks like she's nursing the beginnings of a real shiner there, actually.
That's the end.
Really?
Yeah, she'd have a bit of a meaty blackout at the start of the week.
I suspect when you're a diminutive figure, as so many scrum halves are, you don't mind something that makes you look a bit tough.
No, I think she'd quite like it.
I always found the worst was if you hurt yourself playing sport and you didn't have anything to show for it. You always want the bruise.
Yeah, you do. That's correct. You always do, yeah.
Otherwise, what is the point? So Weaver with the piss in, 10 metres in from that far touchline. Loughborough with a bit of a mountain to climb here, but 20 minutes in which to do it. Hartpury's scrum has been a marmalising force this afternoon, and so it proves again. Green fizzed that one backwards and found turf. Handled really nicely there by Loughborough, and that was better by Green. Anstead popping up on the wing, the fullback. The netballer turned rugby player Weaver. Curden-Jones out the back. Boyd. She's brought a real injection of pace as Boyd. Plenty of involvements for the second row. It's a bouncing ball. Is that Anstead again? How has she popped up on the other wing? So busy. Speaking of busy, Shrestha with another carry for her tally. Lily, I'll be asking you for a player of the match in about 15 minutes or so. So just while we're talking about someone who's had a very impressive afternoon, you can start getting your thinking cap on, pondering that question. What a foot race. It's Scott up against Tart. Tart does really well to bring down the evasive fullback. Ball's knocked on. Hartpury will come up with the ball from that one. Take your time on the player of the match, don't worry, you've got ages. You can really mull it over. It can be from whichever team you like. Tends to go to the winning side, but I will leave it with you. You're the rugby expert. Grizzle Johnson did really well through contact there. Shows that she's got power to go with all that pace and that panache, but I think Lightning have stripped that one. Loughborough have, yes, it's turned over. Jordan Russell was doing everything she could to be an irritant at the breakdown there, but the ball stays with the host, and you can hear the whoops ringing out around Epinal Way. Anderson Thomas chips it over the top, and it's just knocked on, and Lucia Scott, try-scoring hero 1 minute and a frustrated figure the next. A big roll of the eyes there. Just see that one again. Really good question-asking kick here. Just caught that back line napping.
This is exactly what Molly can do, and this is what's really exciting about her and her development as a player. She can really good scanning of her to see where the ball can go, and then Loughborough have got the win of the scrum.
She was playing for the second team last year. Really impressive to see her take that step up.
Yeah, this is really good from her. I think she's shown a lot in that team, and I think coming into training in pre-season this year, she really stood out. So I think this is well deserved for her to be in this first team.
I asked her to tell me something about herself that wasn't rugby related, and she said that she is, and she said this with such confidence, the worst dancer on the team. You're laughing. Can you confirm or deny?
I haven't experienced it, if I'm honest, but I'm sure that I will one day, and I can, to be fair, with those people, I can kind of imagine.
She's got dancing feet, but perhaps not the D floor moves to go with them. So the scrum has been one-way traffic. Hartpury have edged this one time and again, and they will go to work once more. Addy Matthews and Robson, their front row, but that was an improvement from Loughborough, and now they've got lots of space. There's an overlap there. Smart awaits on the wing, and set opts to go it alone. Oh, just brilliantly there to free her hands and find Smart, and Loughborough now inside the 22. This is an opportunity. Curtin-Jones, ducking, weaving, carrying hard. Onto the field now is Becca Lawn, who gets her hands on the ball. Boyd carrying again. Weaver picks out Fleur Walker in on the action. Loughborough ringing the changes, and they are rolling up their sleeves immediately. Williams, Weaver finds Shrestha. How long ago that opening score by the open side feels. Could this be the moment that Loughborough strike back? Green does well to evade the first couple of tackles, but she's eventually snagged, well wrapped up. Shrestha again carries over the top. What an e-drive. 10 metres shy now, Loughborough. The blood will be coursing. They're sniffing an opportunity here. Weaver wades in. Down the blind side they go. Walker stopped short. Wave after wave of purple attack. Huge fend from Scantlebury, shrugs off one tackle.
5 red, offside.
And Hartpury caught for being offside. Loughborough with an opportunity. Looks like they're going to go quickly here as Scantlebury. Fancy footwork, dances through. Gets the ball down, and this could be the beginning of a truly special comeback, all sparked by the quick thinking and mazy feet of Ellen Scantlebury.
Yeah, it's just showed exactly what Loughborough can do now, I think. Hartpury's discipline failed them a little bit there, and because of that, we had a really good comeback.
You mentioned before the game, Lily, that Lucy Weaver is a scrum half who loves to go quickly, but how exciting is it that this is a team with the confidence to go quickly outside of just that traditional number 9 position?
I think this just shows like how good of it is that we can do that, and we feel to have, like you said, the confidence to do that, because not often people would generally pick up the ball and do it. But I think for us, I think this is really good. This is the score we need, and hopefully this is the confidence boost we can get to get back into the game.
Well, the conversion just drifting wide, so that one remains a 5-pointer, but only 11 points the deficit now, 15 minutes. That must feel infinitely more surmountable.
Yeah, I can't imagine how they're feeling now, but hopefully they're going to channel this into some confidence to get the ball and see if they can get playing again. But what a contest it's been so far.
Certainly not a foregone conclusion at all, this one. The result very much remains in the balance, but it would be immensely frustrating for Loughborough if they find themselves on the wrong side again of a close encounter with one of those top 3 teams. Yeah,
it's such a shame. I think this is just such a shame what's happened so far, but I think this is where we can hopefully thrive by being at home and get a good turnaround in this game now.
Lots of the men's side are up near our commentary position now. They're arriving ahead of their match, which kicks off at 7 o'clock. Promises to be a really, really good fixture. And this is interesting because the referee is just calling in the Hartpury captain. Repeated infringements. And by the look of it, Leah Green is starting to nurse a shiner of her own, matching that African violet very nicely.
Edge of the line for me, Hartpury, edge of the line.
It's been physical out there.
Yeah, it has been. It's been a true test of forwards game, this game.
Although, interestingly, all of the scores bar 1 coming from the back. So you called it. This was going to be a quick and exciting game once they could get the ball out wide. Oh, very well taken in the air there. Lovely single-handed take from Curtin-Jones. And a crash ball up the middle. Warren Gatlin himself would be proud of that one. Up onto the halfway line now. Fearsome counter-ruck from the women in red, but the ball stays with the hosts, who are just beginning to purr now. You get the sense that that score's given a real injection of self-belief into this Loughborough side. That is a long kick from Leah Green. What a boot she has got on her. Little micro victories, like a touch finder that good, they can really make the difference, can't they, in an arm wrestle like this?
Yeah, definitely, and from Leah Green as well. This is so good for her. I think this is what she's been working on in training, and we all know she has a good boot on her, but this is the reward she wanted, and especially in the 68th minute, this is a reward that Loughborough need, hopefully to get another score on the table.
Has Leah Green had a chance to be in and around the Lightning setup yet in the Prem 15s? And if not, do you feel like it's just a matter of time?
I do think it's just a matter of time before she gets called in up to this training squad, and I think that's what's really exciting for her, and especially a lot of backs which are in there, and I think that she's going to have a really good opportunity now, but especially only in her first year, I think that she's got a lot of time, so it's really exciting for her.
Also, imagine being a running, playmaking 10-12 and having the chance to be near Helena Rowland.
Yeah, she'll find that unbelievable, and I think that's what's really good about being here, is that it was so close, and it's so able for people to learn off that, so that's what's really exciting for her.
Say the word exciting, and right as you do so, Larry Davies gets her hands on the ball, on a brace. The person responsible for really turning the tide after all of that Loughborough pressure had initially told, and they'd found themselves up by a score. Here's Rosie Down for Hartpury, wearing 21. Started at scrum half in that final last year, but coming on as a replacement today. Another star that day at Six Ways, Russell. Adds a carry, Down. Out to Mann, fending off all comers. And it's slow ball here for Hartpury. And in comparison, quick line speed from Loughborough, but it takes an awful lot to bring Russell down. She just always seems to have opposition defenders hanging off her. Takes a village to stop Jordan Russell once she gets up ahead of steam. Matthews frees her hands, finds the first runner, Down. There's width here if they can use it. Oh, but it's a fantastic charge down by Weaver, putting plenty of pressure on Hendy. Oh, what a hit in the middle of the field. I'm surrounded by Bucks Super Rugby players, and they've all just let out gasps at the ferocity of that one. That would not look out of place in our 7 o'clock kickoff. What a tackle. Some of the defensive hits in this game, well, they can probably feel them back at Hartpury. They'll come all the way through the live stream. Hartpury now with an advantage. Couple of rearranged ribs and a penalty advantage. Priestnell finds Russell. Fends off one, fends off two, frees her hands, picks out Mans. Mans stopped by her opposite number. Excellent defensive intervention from Green. And back the other way, the women in red go. That's a fine shot by Williams on Matthews. Fingers crossed we get to see that tackle again. If you're of a delicate disposition, look away now. Lily, over to you.
Offside there.
Here's the charge down. Scott being hit by Green. I mean, we've praised every facet of Leah Green's game today. I think, though, that's the first defensive thing she's done that's made us really sit up and take notice.
Yeah, that was unbelievable from her, and I think that was a really good opportunity for her, again, to prove a point, I suppose. And I think you can see her aggression coming out now of how they just want to get another try, and I think that's really good for her.
Psychologically as well, just someone like Scott, who is such a danger player, is it important to remind her that, you know, we can stop you, we are able to defuse the threats that you pose?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. We shut that down pretty quickly, which is so exciting to see that we still have that in us. And I think in the 72nd minute that we want to go out, we want to go make shots like that, and we really want to gain territory, so that's what's really exciting.
And testament to the quality of this league, that, as I said, all of the men's team gathered around us in our commentary gantry were absolutely transfixed by that tackle. So Mans tips it onto Veerkamp. Down, shapes to go to the blind side, but fizzes it to Russell. Russell finds space, skipping through tackles. She has carved this game up since she arrived on the field. Down the blind side they go. Hartpury now, 5 metres shy.
Okay, you'll come straight off your feet there. You've got an option, captain. You've got a penalty here or a penalty
2 penalties for them to choose between. Priestnell opts for the one towards the edge, suggests they're going to hoof this one into touch and take the line out.
Yeah, I think Hartpury recently not to. I think they've got a really good driving maul, so for them I think this is a really good opportunity for them to hope to maybe get that bonus point win and get that bonus point scorer.
There's been a discernible pick-up in tempo since Rosie Down came onto the field. What have you noticed about her in a scrum half? It looks to me as though she's delivering the ball that little bit more quickly.
Yeah, that's the injection of energy you want from a finisher to come on the pitch, and I think that's really helped Hartpury now, and they've seen, like you said, the tempo's really increased, and this is what they need now, and I think with 7 minutes left, 6 minutes left, I think this is what they need to actually get that other try to kind of keep Loughborough out of it, I suppose, but yeah, it's really good for her to come on. I think she's done a really good job.
Edinburgh leading the table with 16 league points. Exeter with 15 in second. Hartpury with third with 14. Every point really, really matters. The coaches will be hammering into their charges, won't they, that bonus point scores are almost another win on top of a win.
Yeah, they're really important, especially in this league. Like you said, the points are so close, and I think Hartpury would be disappointed if they don't come away with that today, but I have full belief that they will.
Well, it was fingertip stuff at the top of that line out by Kibble. But it's Loughborough who come up with the win. They'll have their work cut out looking to exit here, but the ball was just knocked on.
This is really good for Loughborough now. I think they have an opportunity to exit. I think this is what they need to get out of their half to hopefully give them a bit of confidence to play on.
They've got the runners to do it, haven't they? If they can just, as you said, manage that ball-to-hand passing.
I think either if they kick out or run out, I think they'll have a really good gain line off this. It's just deciding on what they're going to do.
You look actively excited at the prospect. It's lovely sitting alongside someone so invested in all of this. Very drawn in myself. This has been a fascinating affair. Big scrum from Hartpury. Down, picks out the runner. Here is Mans, held up, looking for the whitewash, reaching for it, but denied. Inches away now. Battershill, out wide, Scott! I can't tell if that was Scott or Hendy who got it down. It was the full-back. A brace. What a fine afternoon's work for the fresher. And just when we were talking about the possibility of a Loughborough exit, the killer blow from Hartpury. They have their bonus points, and that's the game gone.
Yeah, that was unbelievable from her, and her feet to get into space was so good, and I think she's done really, really well this game, and I think especially in her first year to be able to play rugby to this ability is like so exciting to see her progression through uni, and I think especially with a lot of time now, it'll be scary to be playing against her in a few years' time when she's at her full potential.
She's definitely got good people to learn from in that she's training week in, week out with Emma Singh, Mia Venner and the like. And she's got an ability, an uncanny ability to pop up in the right place at the right time. Both of her scores, she was on the shoulder of somebody with that front foot ball.
Yeah, that's just what you need from a 15, and I think she knows her role really well, which is really important for her when she's playing, and as you can see, this is what's made her game hers.
And it will come as absolutely no surprise that the extras were added there by Charlie May Mans. She's had a fine afternoon. Can we just have a word for the Hartpury scrum, though, as we watch it again here?
Yeah, this was unbelievable from them. They have a really good shove. And I think this is what's good. I think they've used it when they needed to, and I think that for Hartpury, sorry, I think they knew they needed to do that at this point. There's not long left. They want that bonus point, so I think they really controlled that, and this is where they're dominating on this side of the pitch.
How important will it be for the squad that they've bounced back from their first loss of the season to put a result like this on a tricky opponent like Loughborough?
Yeah, I think this would be really important for them, and I think they've well and truly done that, and I know they're going to be what they would have worked hard this week to get away from that, because I don't think the losses were what they would have wanted, but yeah, they've done very well to get to where they are now. I think it was a tricky start for them, and I think Loughborough gave them a good run of their money. I think for 30 minutes, no points on the board, I think that shows a lot for both teams, but they've got away with it the second half, and I think they've done really well to get to where they are. I think they've utilised the ball a lot better in this situation, especially with the great defensive set that they had early in the second half.
We've got lots of work to do on the exit front, but the result seems pretty much away and clear, so I think it is time. Oh, wow, fabulous outside run. Fend like a piston, ball loose. Jordan pouncing upon it. Jordan Russell. She's been a point of difference since she's come on. That's a fire-meeting fire tackle from Kendall Wardby. Loughborough bringing up the penalty and looking to kick for territory. And as they do that, Lily Ives Campion, you've been watching this one. Who do you think deserves our Player of the Match award tonight?
I think there could have been a few people, I generally do, but for me tonight was Charlie May-Mans. I think she's done really well, and under pressure she's got that ball away really quickly, but this was really tight between her and Larry Davis again on the wing, getting those great breaks to score a try. I think again she did really well, but also for the Loughborough side, Sarah, I think Sarah again has been a really good power force for that Loughborough team, getting her a good score. Unbelievable carries that she's had in the game, and I think she's given real good momentum into the game. But for me, Charlie's definitely taken that Player of the Match role.
So Charlie May-Mans, as the clock goes red, the result goes red too. Hartpury, the reigning Women's National League Cup champions, reminding us just why they have such a deep trophy cabinet. A bonus point win on the road against a spirited Loughborough side. Full-time score, 10 points to 28. Charlie May-Mans pulling the strings, slotting the kicks, and making all the difference there. What a performance from her. What a performance from Hartpury. Bouncing back from that defeat at the hands of the new kids on the block, Exeter, last week. It's a 5-point win for the reigning champions. Lily, your thoughts at full-time?
Well, that game didn't disappoint, that's for sure. I think first half it was so unsure who was going to get the top of this, and I think that those half-time chats and then the initial start of the second half is what really made this game. I think Hartpury being under that so much defensive pressure at the start of the second half and Loughborough being rooted into that 22, I think must have just flipped a switch for them, and I think on their counter of that initial break by Amber was unbelievable. So for them to carry on doing that and then play with that momentum they got off that one-line break has been really good for them, and I think the 2 tries they got on the back of that was really good. However, you can't fault Loughborough. They've, again, underdogs at this game, and I think the game just doesn't reflect how well they have worked and how well they've kept composure and momentum. I think it's just unlucky that with all the time we did have in the 22, they didn't get that score they really needed. But again, a lot to work on going to the games next week, and I think this is really exciting for Loughborough and for Hartpury to see where they can get. Loughborough have done really well now and progressing, developing, and getting so much better than they have been, and I think this is a good win for them. Like little wins, like we said, like 50-22. Leah Green do really, really well under that pressure, especially with Molly and the backs that we have. It's been unbelievable, but I do think our forwards have really carried this game in really good contest. It's been a very good physical battle this game. So yeah, it's been lovely to watch.
A great day for several players, highlights reels. I think you picked out all of the best contenders for Player of the Match. Amber Robson with some amazing, amazing breaks in open field. And whilst we just look back at some of the action from the match, a word actually for Sam Monaghan, because Natasha Hunt wasn't here to coach this side, but Monaghan clearly stepped into that role and worked some magic at half-time.
Yeah, she stepped up to the role that's been left to her. I think Mo Hunt's done really well with Hartpury this season. Again, a fierce side coming off a positive win at the end of last season. I think, you know, for her to come in, that'll be a bit daunting, but she's definitely taken what they've done. I think the half-time chats and her management of players onto the pitch, who's coming on when, bringing Jordan Russell onto the pitch, that injection of energy that Hartpury needed, along with the 9 that came on. I think she's done very well, and the timings of that were unbelievable. So just when Hartpury needed it, they got it and they executed with that and got the tries they really needed to get that bonus point win.
Katie Trevathan's goal for the season is to reach the final. Is that still possible? I don't know about the numbers, but in terms of the potential of this side, do you think let's go, you know what, let's go with semi-finals. Let's not put you too much spot, but do you think this is a side that has the potential to still finish in the top 4?
I think Loughborough do. I think it's a shame how they've fallen short just a tiny little bit, but, you know, they've done well. You can clearly see from watching the game they've been very much in control when they needed to be. Just such a shame. There's like a tiny bit of discipline, tiny bit of handling there. You know, they've done really well where they could, and I think that's really exciting for them.
They actually edge, I think, the discipline battle.
Yeah, I agree. I think they've done really well, and I think especially when they had ball, they kept it. I think they put great defensive pressure onto Hartpury. There was so many scrums, so many knock-ons, so many handling errors from both sides, really, and I think Loughborough did really well to do that, and I think their heart went in the 22 to try and score. Unlucky for the mistakes, but they did really well to get there and maintain that amount of time in that red zone, in that goal zone, sorry, because being Hartpury in that, the worst thing is for defending your try line for like 8 minutes straight. That's the last thing anyone wants to be doing. So for them, that's really exciting for them.
Next up for these two sides, a couple of tricky fixtures. Loughborough host Edinburgh, and Hartpury have to go away to Durham. But it's all about the here and now, and by the looks of it, Dave Rogers has found himself pitchside with Sam Monaghan, lead coach today for the victorious Hartpury.
They've actually let me onto the pitch, Claire. I'm feeling in a very lucky situation here. At the beginning of the game, I asked you if you felt as though you had a point to prove today. Have you proved that point? That was some win.
Yes, we definitely have. Like, as I said before the game, like, we were quite bitter about the loss last week. Like, we felt like we bet ourselves, and we took a hard look at ourselves. And the girls, we spoke about celebrating them small wins today and just celebrating them scrums, getting that go forward and momentum. And I thought the girls did that brilliantly. The game management, like between 10 and 12, like some of our kicks and decisions around that, I thought were really, really good. And I'm proud of the girls for like bringing back that win away, bonus point win after last week.
Well, let's talk about the 10 and 12 then, because they gave you so many options. You're glancing over there because we're going to be speaking to the 12, the player of the match, very soon. But having that midfield combination gives you so many options. Yeah,
what I love about Abby Lee and Chaz is like they can intertwine. Like one of them goes down, you have Chaz in plate and 10 there. We switched them around this week, and it's a really good combo. I'm really proud of them.
Bonus point victory. You talked about small wins, but that's added up to a big win. You are right back at the top of the table now. Fun bus trip home?
Yeah, the girls are buzzing. Like I said it on the way up, and we were just like, girls, we want to come back on this bus with 5 points, and that's what we definitely did today.
Well, we'll whisper it because she's just out of earshot. But
she just did her hair, by the way.
The player of the match, it could have been any number of players in red today, but Charlie got it. A quick word on her.
She's been great this season. Like some of her decisions, like she's got great skills, and I think putting her at 12 today, we just got to distribute the ball a bit wider and like get the balls into our quick wingers' hands, and that's what we did today and scored a couple of tries off it. So I'm buzzing for her. She really deserves it.
Well, congratulations. I will let you go and do the celebrations, and your celebrations are going to have to be delayed a couple of minutes, Charlie, mate. Big smile on your face. Just done your hair. Looks fantastic. But let's not talk about that. Let's talk about the rugby. Your performance today, fantastic. And to bounce back from the disappointment of last week with 5 points on the road must feel pretty good.
Oh, yeah. The girls and I were gutted last week. Like, we didn't perform. Like, we was under the weather. Like, we just wasn't ourselves. Like, today we started a bit rusty, but we scored our first try, and then bang, we was absolutely unbelievable. Such a team performance, and I'm so proud of them.
Did it need that try to really kickstart you? Because the first half an hour was maybe one for the purists, and you fell behind again. So a big test of character that you've passed.
Yeah, I think definitely like that's just a turning point in the game, I think, and we just need to start quicker. I think just get going faster.
So how do you do that?
Oh, I don't know. Like I don't know what we got to do. I think we just got to switch on earlier. Like obviously there's changes in and out because obviously we missed Amy Dale today in our forward pack. She's a big player. But the girls, Chelsea Matthews stepped up and she was absolutely fantastic. So I think we just need to start from the off and get going.
Talk to us about this group, because everyone's billing you as the defending champions, which you are, but the dynamic changes. You lose players, you bring players in, but listening into the huddle there after the game, it just feels like you all get on well, you're all moving in the right direction. There feels to be a really good vibe around this Hartpury team.
Definitely, we are one big family. It's just, we are one big family. Like, the girls are running now, everybody's there, like, we haven't left, and we're just a fantastic. I really, really am proud of them today.
Well, we've already heard that you're going to have a good bus trip. Any secrets you can tell us about what's going to go on?
Oh, I have no idea. No idea. Nothing. I have no idea. Probably some sing-songs, bit of karaoke. Might get Sam on the mic. Beth Ann, obviously, just come back from the World Cup. We'll get her to sing a song on the bus.
What's your song to sing?
Oh, that's a good question. Tina Turner, Proud Mary, probably.
Fantastic, can't wait. Huge congratulations, you're the player of the match. Enjoy the celebrations and good luck next week. That is it. Hartpury return with a victory. Fantastic. The first setback is past. Loughborough still with a little bit of work to do, but they've shown that they can rub shoulders with the best in the league. Hartpury have painted the town red. Now it is Cardiff's turn as we change our views to Bucks Super Rugby. One game down at this doubleheader, one to come. Congratulations, Hartpury. Who else will be celebrating victory here in Epinal Way tonight? Don't go anywhere because we're going to find out. 7 p.m. kickoff. See you then.